Perfect. Good job, Reebok, for having morals clause in her contract and enforcing by pulling it. Carrington is a bully that the league apparently is protecting. Wake up, WNBA, before someone get really hurt. You'll get sued because we Americans won't stand for the abuse. Now, it states here, Reebok is reportedly dropping their endorsement for DiJonai Carrington after she attacked.
The basketball world is buzzing over claims that a major sponsorship deal has completely fallen apart. In professional sports, players can create rivalries and face criticism, but when on-court incidents begin affecting sponsors, the consequences can become serious. Reports now claim that Reebok has ended its deal with DiJonai Carrington after controversy surrounding her physical play involving Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. The biggest claim is that Reebok then shifted its support toward Cunningham with a reported $1 million deal, creating an even bigger story around the rivalry. However, these contract termination and sponsorship claims have not been independently confirmed, so they should be treated as reports rather than established facts, and according to the story, Caitlin Clark was closely connected to the fallout. Welcome back to Clark Fever Hoop Buddy, where we're breaking down the latest claims surrounding this heated WNBA controversy. The story goes back to the incidents involving DiJonai Carrington and the Indiana Fever, including several physical plays involving Caitlin Clark and the controversial foul on Sophie Cunningham that became the biggest turning point. The hit sparked major reactions from fans, especially after Carrington appeared to celebrate the play afterward. Supporters and critics have argued over whether the contact crossed the line, but claims about a Reebok contract ending and a $1 million deal for Cunningham remain unverified.
Sophie Cunningham, let's go. Oh my God, it's getting real. It is getting very much real for in the field, for them pockets. That's what I like to see. Pockets getting hit hard, bro. Hard. Because somebody need to hold these players accountable for the stupidity they have been putting out. Because it has been a lot of stupidity. And to add even more insult to injury, thousands of people are calling for Reebok to drop their endorsement for DiJonai Carrington after she attacked Sophie Cunningham. Now, this was from earlier this morning. Oh, yes. Now, this right here was from this morning as well. So as you guys can see, there might be a little merit to this argument. Just might be. DiJonai Carrington has cast a check that has written a check she just can't cash. Now, Emmanuel Acho had some words for DiJonai.
First and foremost, respect to DiJonai, because I actually appreciate somebody that can come to a conversation with a little bit of intellect. So I appreciate that first and foremost. Kudos to you, DiJonai Carrington. And also, I do not stand with those that are coming at you and attacking your personhood. Attack the action, but don't attack the person. So let me also...
According to the story, Reebok executives were watching the game as the controversy involving DiJonai Carrington continued to grow. The claim suggests that the company became concerned about being associated with a player involved in repeated physical incidents involving Caitlin Clark and her teammates. As clips spread across social media, fans allegedly began tagging Reebok and calling for boycotts, creating a major public relations problem for the brand. The narrative claims that Carrington believed she was building a tough image, but the backlash may have started hurting her marketability instead. The biggest allegation is that Reebok eventually decided to end her endorsement deal, remove her merchandise, and leave her out of future campaigns. The story describes the moment as a major financial setback for Carrington and suggests that the decision sent shock waves through WNBA locker rooms. However, there is currently no verified evidence confirming that Reebok terminated Carrington's contract, removed her products, or made the decisions described in these reports.
Whole world to run with it. Last thing I will say is very simply, so many people have asked you, amongst others, well, then what are you talking about? We still have yet to get a response. All that DiJonai, you have told us is, hey, I wasn't talking about the foul. Well then, what were you talking about? I refuse to believe, on behalf of everybody that is confused, we're not all idiots and you are the one genius in the room. That's just not the case. So I say this with all respect. I respect your intelligence. I respect your response. And you currently on the court hooping, so respect to you. But there's still a lot of errors in your thought process and thought pattern.
So that was Emmanuel Acho. Now, Fox News had a situation to where they wasn't backing down either with DiJonai Carrington. Let me play a little bit of this right here. So this was Fox News this morning speaking about this DiJonai Carrington situation. And let's give it a buzz.
Responding to the white privilege post, saying in part, I've never once claimed that the assessment of the foul was white privilege. That was your assumption. Try exercising your critical thinking skills. I know you studied psych. I would never use that term as a rhetorical weapon, knowing the historical and social weight it holds without having the proper evidence to substantiate it. Sage, she posted that and is now claiming it didn't apply to the...
The story claims Carrington reacted angrily after learning about the alleged sponsorship decision, reportedly yelling at her phone and demanding answers from Reebok executives. According to the narrative, she blamed the officials and media, but eventually realized the controversy could have serious financial consequences for her career. The report further claims that Reebok ended the relationship without a public farewell or future support, leaving Carrington frustrated and uncertain about her next move. But the story says the bigger surprise came afterward. Instead of simply ending the sponsorship and keeping the money, Reebok allegedly decided to make a much bigger statement by redirecting its attention toward another WNBA player. However, these claims about Carrington's reaction and Reebok's decision have not been independently confirmed.
Posture about we won't allow things to be politicized, as if you can control it. There's only one way to control it. Have more control over your product. Have a clear delineation as to what defines a woman, what defines a female. Otherwise, you're going to have cats 6'8" with goatees walking in your league or claiming they're going to walk in your league. You can deny them entry. You can refuse to draft them, but you're going to open yourself up to potential legal action until you clarify what the hell is going on, which is the purpose of Enos Cancer Freedom and Royce White, especially Royce White, who's running for a Republican seat in the United States Senate. He wants to compel you to make a decision. He wants to compel you to define what a woman is. He wants to compel you or expose your unwillingness to do so. Because from a political perspective, it just heightens and illuminates the dichotomy that exists between both sides of the aisle. And everybody in sports wants to sit up there. We want to play games. We want to play games. We don't want stuff politicized. Well, damn it, be clear. You're supposed to ward this off at the pass. You're supposed to make sure that it is clear where your rules stand. Women, how come you didn't write in your language those born female? How come you didn't make that clear? Because if you were born a female, even if you're transitioning to being a female, because you weren't born a female, that would make you ineligible to enter the WNBA. Why didn't you do that? This whole issue has been fomenting and gaining steam and traction for years. It was used in the presidential election. It was used in the midterms before the presidential election. It's going to be used in the midterms this November. And if the right has their way, it's going to be brought up again in 2028. Where you at? Where you at? Kathy Engelbert, you're the commissioner of the WNBA. Where you at? You don't know this is coming? You, Cheryl Reeves, you the coach of the Minnesota Lynx. Watching your girl drop 10 3-pointers last night, putting on a show. That's about celebrating her. Ain't nobody gonna celebrate you. You gotta be careful with the things that you say and the things that you promote with your t-shirts, your jackets, or anything else.
According to the story, the biggest twist came when Reebok allegedly decided not to simply walk away from the sponsorship money, but instead use it to sign Sophie Cunningham, the same player at the center of the controversial incident involving DiJonai Carrington. The report claims Cunningham received a jaw-dropping $1 million endorsement offer, turning the situation into what many fans would describe as instant karma. The narrative suggests Reebok saw an opportunity to connect with the massive audience surrounding Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, believing that supporting Cunningham could bring strong attention from that fan base. The story then claims Carrington was furious when she learned that Cunningham had supposedly received the opportunity that once belonged to her. In this version of events, Cunningham gets the major payday, Clark gains another reason to celebrate, and Carrington is left dealing with the consequences of the controversy. It certainly makes for a dramatic story, but the key details remain unverified. There is no confirmed evidence that Reebok terminated Carrington's endorsement deal or signed Cunningham to a $1 million contract, until either the company or the players officially confirms the claims. They should be treated as reports rather than established facts.
The midterm elections approaching up, specifically with what's coming down the pike over the next 2+ years. Specifically, when you have a president in office that feels like the sports community, by and large, turned against him. And you got people who do things because they believe it might ingratiate them with him and his supporters. Read the tea leaves. Play chess, not checkers. Complaining about what they're trying to do, like Stephanie White did right there in Indiana. Right there. A place where former Vice President Mike Pence was once the governor. Right there. She's right in that city. She's right around those folks. You know what their political ideology is. You know how they feel about certain things. You get it. Travel the country, which they do. The WNBA. Different places, different people. Different ideological backgrounds and beliefs and tilts. It's all there. But you want to act like you don't know. In my opinion, it's inexcusable. You know what my philosophy is? Bring the rain. Bring the rain. When there's an issue to be tackled, tackle it. Don't run.
Do you think Reebok was right to drop DiJonai Carrington? And what do you think about the claim that Sophie Cunningham replaced her with a $1 million deal? Share your thoughts in the comments, then like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more WNBA updates.